All right. So the last video I made showed you how to set up your Airbnb property as a host on Airbnb hosting's platform. So I did kind of mention in that video that when you do set up a property, it's going to ask you to go through all your kind of pricing, figure out how much you want to charge. So when you do that, you're going to want to do a little bit of market research. Something I do, not just to see if the area that you're maybe getting property in is profitable, but also just to determine your nightly rate if you already have a property somewhere, is going to be something called AirDNA. So it's just AirDNA, and it's a market minder is what they call it. So I'll put the link to that in my bio again if you want to just go straight there. But so in the video, we did a property in Santa Monica. So I'm going to keep that consistent here. And again, this is just a demo market so that we can just explore the features. So I don't actually have a property in Santa Monica, but this is just so we can explore the features and actually see kind of what you'd be looking at. Of course, you would put your specific city and your market in here as well. Like I said, you can use this to basically figure out if the market that maybe you're interested in purchasing or renting a property is going to be a good market as well. So let's say that we're curious about the area of Santa Monica. Let's say we either live in Santa Monica, or maybe we're just curious in having a property there because we know they do so well on Airbnb. So first, we're going to type in the city. You can put in a specific zip code if you want to, but I usually just put in the city. And we're going to look at the rating. So this has a B+ rating. That's actually a pretty good rating. And what you want to look at is your average daily rate of how much you can charge for a property in this location. This is showing you that basically the rate of an entire unit. So like I mentioned in the previous video, when you set up your property, it's going to ask you if it's an entire unit or if you have a shared, like a private room in a house that you live in, or if it's a shared space, etc. This is showing you the profit that you could be making for an entire rental unit. So this is saying the average daily rate in Santa Monica is about $271. And it shows you here, you can jump more into this, but it shows you your nightly rate based on kind of what month it is, right, in different seasons. So let's see. Here's kind of the breakdown, all 12 months. You can see it's actually pretty consistent. Obviously, it gets a little bit higher here. So it's actually going up quite a bit. In 2020, it was pretty consistent. And then, boom, starting off 2021, it really is a pretty good market to invest in. So no issues there. You can scroll down here. Again, I don't see any issues. Let's go back and look at the occupancy rate. So I'm actually really impressed. Even in my market that I'm currently in, it's pretty rare that I would see an 81% occupancy rate. So this is a really good market, better than most of the other markets I've researched with AirDNA. So 81% occupancy, that means your property is likely going to be booked 81% of the time, or roughly 80% of the time. And they know this based on all the other Airbnb data in that specific location. So that's a pretty good percentage, really good rate. And your revenue, let's take a look at this. So let's say you have a property and that property costs you $2,000 a month in either your mortgage or your rent, right? Now your revenue looks like about $4,500. So take your $4,500 minus your $2,000 rent or your mortgage, and you're looking at about a $2,500 profit on top of that. Now, remember, you do still have to maybe pay a cleaner, cleaning fee, any type of property maintenance upkeep. But those numbers are actually really small compared to just what you're paying for rent. So you're going to be making about $2,500 profit. Let's go down here. This tells you the active rentals. So there's about 1,000 active rentals. Most of the active rentals are entire homes. So they're not going to be like a shared space or like a private room, in your property, which is fine if you have something like that. But most of the rentals and the rentals that do really well are going to be your entire property or entire home type of rentals. And it looks like, okay, that's pretty much what I explained. Now, rental channel, this compares them across multiple platforms. So if you're interested in maybe you want to rent or list your property up on VRBO or another platform, it shows you what exactly is available. So in Santa Monica, 87% of the properties in that area are rented on Airbnb, while only 5% of them are rented on VRBO. So what does that mean? Is that if you rent, or if you put your property on VRBO, your property is probably going to be seen a lot more times because there's less competition. So I would put it up on Airbnb. That's go-to number one, has to be on Airbnb. That's where you're probably going to make most of your money, just based on my experience. And then VRBO, I would put it up there as well, just because you've got more of the market on VRBO. Okay, so let's look at bedrooms. In the previous video where we set up our property in Santa Monica, we put a 3-bedroom, I think we did. So we can see here how that property is going to compare and stack up against the rest. Obviously, the more bedrooms you have and the more people you're able to host, the better your property does. So we have anything from a studio property all the way up to a 5-bedroom. Most of the properties in Santa Monica fall between that 1 and 2 bedroom type space. And if you have more rooms, then you're going to be doing better than most of these other properties. Rental growth looks like it's actually pretty standard. So you can see basically by quarterly. I'm just trying to go through and show you. I don't use all these features when I research a market. I really don't. So some of these you can basically see, like your ocean breeze housing, where different kind of locations are, hotels, condos, things like that, and how well those are doing in the market. Again, just to kind of see where yours is going to fall, how your competition is doing, and your amenities. Of course, you want to make sure that you are competitive with your amenities, the basics: air conditioning, heating, water or washer, washer and dryer in the premises, internet, of course, pool, hot tub, right? So a lot of people, when they travel, they want a pool or a hot tub. It's just kind of one of those amenities that can really get your place booked pretty frequently. But in this case, in Santa Monica, there's not a lot of properties that have those two. So if you have a property and it has a pool or has a hot tub, you're automatically going to be placed in kind of the top 10% of locations. Okay. And again, your rental activity here, it's 22% available full time. So that means most of the time, 80% or so, it's going to be booked. Cancellation policy. This is what you set up on Airbnb or VRBO, or whichever platform you're choosing to list on. So you can actually see how yours is going to stack up against those other listings when it comes to their cancellation policy. And then you can set a minimum night stay as well. So these are just things to basically help you figure out, all the different things when you create your listing, all the different ways you can set it up and have your different amenities and have your cancellation policy or your minimum night stay. You really want that to not only boost your property up to the top of the search results, because it's going to be a unique property and it's going to be more sought after than the other rentals, but you want to make sure it's just competitive, right, in the rental space. So that's kind of your overall very general breakdown of AirDNA. Again, that link to AirDNA is in the bio of this video. So if you want to go explore or play around and actually plug in your specific market, or your zip code, whatever zip code you might be either looking in or maybe currently live in. I would recommend this because you want to make sure you can actually be profitable on Airbnb before you put up a property, or especially before you go out and buy a property that just maybe the market is too saturated, or properties just aren't renting for a lot in that location. So make sure you can actually be profitable. Make sure you can not only cover your mortgage and cover your rent, but also make profit on top of that as well. So AirDNA is a good place to do that and really see what you're looking at. That's what I would recommend. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, you can like this video, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be posting more videos and explaining how exactly to start your Airbnb journey and what I did to become successful on Airbnb.